Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Post Play, and the SEABA week is finished. So the smoke is clear, the dust has settled from the championship of Gilas Pilipinas. They are going to the FIBA Asia Cup this coming August. And my name is Noel Zarate, still alongside Ali Peak and Don Aliado. And of course, we have one of the remnants of Gilas Pilipinas with us. We have Coach Jimmy Alapag with us.
Yeah, all right.
How you doing? Thanks for having me.
All right, it's kind of weird to call you Coach Jimmy Alapag. Are you getting used to it already?
It's getting there. It's still still has a little new ring to it, but soon enough.
Yeah, but before we get started, you know, Ali just posted the other day. It was getting a little nostalgic, so Ali posted something on Facebook the other day. I want you guys to explain to me what was going on when this picture was taken. Can you see that picture right now? Is that picture up? There
it is.
Tell me about this, Jimmy.
Okay, so basically,
Jimmy was teabagging Ali.
Shit, I didn't even recognize Jimmy.
Tell the story.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
So Ali had picked up this kid who was trying to get the part as the extra in this commercial. No, seriously. No, it was a shoot for PLDT. Ali had just been traded to Talk and Text, and it's kind of ironic because it really was the start of our run with Talk and Text together. And I didn't realize I was
It's a decade ago.
that young looking.
Yeah, right. That was 10 years ago.
It was 10 years ago.
Yeah, it looked like I was 15 and not 25.
Back then, you didn't have any facial hair.
He didn't have any hair.
But
But
it was good times, you know. It really kind of signified Ali coming to Talk and Text, and he was a huge part of our success.
Right, and in 09, all three of you were in the same team. So what was that like, having these two veterans with you as well?
It's a lot of night outs because this guy right here.
No, it was good times. You know, the three of us have been close friends for a long time, and you know, these two guys are really part of the group that helped set the bar for a lot of us coming after, and the fact that not only were we good friends, but had an opportunity in our career to play on the same team was a lot of fun.
Don, give us a Jimmy anecdote that you can think of right now. From all the years, it doesn't even have to be when you were
anecdote. I just remember every time that we would work out in the gym, I would see Jimmy just flexing in the mirror.
That was Ali. That was Ali. It wasn't me.
I saw Ali in the bathroom shaving his chest before a workout. That's what I remember with Ali.
This is going. Ali, how about you? You have a lot of Jimmy anecdotes. You've been there with Jimmy since 07?
Well, I think the one thing that comes to mind is there are many times where we were bunked together, right, on the road, and you know, even other countries as well. And some of it was training camp. A lot of it were the road games, and I just remember a lot of the conversations that we had, especially when we were making our run, and then the course of that run, and then towards the end, there were times where we were getting up in age, and we would talk about hey, when do you plan on hanging it up? Yeah. When do I plan on hanging it up? And I mean, so that whole process, like just. Us getting to know each other. I mean, we knew each other as competitors, but then you really form that bond in those close quarters.
As aging veterans now.
As aging veterans,
And I think all throughout when my stay there in Talk and Text with Jimmy, the one that stood out with him was his leadership. So that was clearly present. You know, he was there to be guiding a lot of people. It just came natural for him to steer the ship the right way and get everybody in line with what the team is trying to do. And again, natural leader. So
I think that was the most impressive thing, because that takes a lot of energy. That takes a lot of patience, and consistency in what you do.
Because we had some dumbasses on our team back then.
Are you counting yourselves, or
man, we had some
even worse than you?
I wouldn't say dumbasses, more like knuckleheads.
Knuckleheads.
Yeah, we had a lot of knuckleheads, quite a few knuckleheads.
Yeah, so
especially when we were all single at one point. That's when.
But were you always the leader on the team, even when you were growing up? Were you all? Because
I think
we just sort of saw you as a rookie, and then all of a sudden, bam, you're just the leader. All of a sudden, in your rookie year.
I think a lot of that comes from my dad, especially. His personality and I think just the natural, because I don't think necessarily being a leader is for everybody, but I like Don and Ali said, it is something that comes very natural to me, just because, I played the game for a long time, and I was small for a lot of those years as I was learning the game. So, when you have to really, scrape and claw your way to make teams and try to be successful, part of being a leader is you have to, lead by example. And
Right.
I was always going to be the first guy at the gym, and I was always going to be the last guy there because I had to. Because I wasn't, when you're a 4'9", 90-pound freshman in high school, you can't afford to be the cool guy who comes into practice 5 minutes before.
How old were you when you were 4'9"?
Not,
You mean when I was born? I was 4'9" when I was born.
Yeah, exactly, and I was 15. So, again, I think from that, a lot of the natural leadership came from.
Yeah, okay. So, again, now your leadership now transcends to being one of the coaches on the national team, which you've served so well, former MVP of the PBA, former Rookie of the Year, won all the accolades. You've broken a record that we all thought would never get broken anyway. So, now you've been watching from the
Mention
bench.
to our viewers what record that is.
3-pointers.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Right
Jimmy
there.
just eclipsed a record that nobody ever thought.
Yep.
Alan K. Dick's three-point record, career three-point record, we never thought that would be broken until Jimmy Alapag came along.
But for
Did
the
you ever
record-
think that you would do that?
No, not at all. I don't think you ever go into your career trying to necessarily break records, especially one like that one.
Yeah.
But again, it's more of a reflection of the people who I was fortunate enough to play with. I don't get open shots or make shots without 4 other guys in the court to help me either get those shots or get me open, or having these 2 guys set screens for me. And really, for the record, even as fortunate as I feel to have that record, Alan Kaidik is still and will always be, the greatest shooter in Philippine
Amen.
basketball.
Amen.
Yeah.
All right,
and-
now.
But it only, for you to take that record, I mean, it was a quick 18 years in the league.
Wasn't that long? It wasn't 18 years.
No, just kidding.
All right, now you're a coach
Well.
on the team that you've served so well throughout the years. I mean, when you say Gilas Pilipinas, the first, at least for me, first face that shows up is always Jimmy Alapag. When you say Gilas, when you see that Pilipinas, that blue shirt with Pilipinas on it, it's always Jimmy Alapag. That's the first face that registers with me. But now you're a coach on this squad. So what was it like watching from the bench that we were annihilating people by 40, 50 points a game?
Honestly, no, it was awesome being on the other side. Again, being fortunate enough to have been a part of the Gilas program for so long, and now that the body couldn't hold up anymore, and now coaching, to be able to help these younger guys and hopefully help them to be able to experience what we experienced, beating Korea here at home, or the experience of the World Cup in Spain. I mean, those are memories that I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. And now, as a coach, being able to hopefully help these younger guys in this new Gilas team be able to experience that, hopefully, in the near future. It's exciting, and it's something I'm really looking forward to.
You guys have anything? Because I want to jump to the next one. Talk about the team. Performance-wise, grade it. A+.
I give the team an A. Obviously going into the tournament, we were the overwhelming favorite. But sometimes that can be a dangerous thing because, especially for this particular tournament, if we didn't win, there's no FIBA Asia Cup, there's no World Cup qualifier,
Right.
and we take 10 steps back from all the progress we
Yeah.
made the last, how many years, 5 or 6 years. So, there was really no room for any slip-ups.
Were you guys nervous heading into the final game against Indonesia? We were both undefeated. That's the story. Indonesia was undefeated. Philippines was undefeated. Who knows what could have happened at championship game?
Indonesia was well scouted. We were really prepared for them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We saw what they can do. We saw their main guys.
Yeah, even with
they
their
were in
naturalized player
check.
only playing one game, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of the credit obviously goes to Coach Trout and the rest of the staff and really the players, because throughout the entire week, again, when you're playing against teams that that you're going to beat convincingly, sometimes it's hard. I mean, if you're playing a team that chances are we're going to beat them, you have you have that window where you could be a little complacent and take them for granted a little bit. And again, this was a tournament that we couldn't afford that. And so again, the credit goes to the guys for really coming in, really focused, business-like, every shoot around, every practice, and it showed.
All right. I'm going to ask you guys this question before I ask it to Jimmy. Was it overkill? Was it overkill?
No, because I think it sends a message. We're supposed to send a message for international teams like, hey, Gilas Pilipinas, we're coming to get you guys. We're coming and we're going to make a name, sending a message. We're going to kill teams by 40, 50, 90, 100 points.
What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Don.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you
That's his
something.
answer. That's really his answer.
Look. I mean, you don't expect anything less, right? I mean, it got to the point where I wasn't even watching anymore. You know, but I mean,
Why weren't you watching, man?
that was because
part of our
they were up by so many
Philippines,
points.
baby.
But you know what? You also have to think about, Coach Chud's kind of been out of the game for quite some time, and I thought that was pretty impressive. I don't care what kind of level it is. One of the things I was worried about is he going to be rusty in certain areas? But we're talking about Coach Chud, and I thought that was also impressive too. You take time off. Sometimes it's hard coming right back, and things aren't firing on all cylinders. But I just thought that he did a really good job with his team, in particular, especially when you're dealing with a bunch of young guys. And how many original members?
Only four.
Only four, right?
were left.
Including
Eight new guys.
including the
Andre
including
Blatch,
Andre Blatch, yeah.
yeah.
So it's really impressive.
Yeah, I think, well, aside from that, just to add on to it, Coach Schott, and Coach Schott has been in the game for a long time. Just like players like us, when for example, if we do join like a small little basketball, we want to play basketball with our friends, there's going to be some certain things that we're going to be doing to warm up, and that comes natural for us to start warming up our bodies. And I think it's the same thing, the transition with Coach Schott, and in preparation to the Gilas. He's going to settle right back into his routines, and he's going to start doing those things. It's going to come naturally for him. Because
No, yeah, I understand that, but I mean, you're talking about the preparation. It's one thing when you have original cast members, more of them, like 8 or 9 coming back, but he had a majority of them. These are newbies, and I think that was the biggest challenge for him. Well, if it was even a challenge at all, but it was, again, I thought that was pretty impressive.
All right, now there's 2 questions for you to answer since you were on the inside. Was it a challenge for the coaching staff to work with these new guys? Some of them came under Coach Tab Baldwin, some of them, of course, from the old Gilas program, and you've worked with all of them. And was it overkill?
To answer your first question, I think, again, the credit has to go to the players, because when we had our initial mini training camp in Tagaytay, right from that very first day, you could really sense the excitement from the new guys. And you still had, Jason and Junmar and Japet there to kind of set the bar for where the Gilas program is at. But, again, I think from a camaraderie and a chemistry perspective, from that first mini training camp, as the coaching staff, you could kind of see, like, we have a good group, and you could sense the guys, really respecting each other and respecting each other's game right as they walk through the door. And that's important, because in a lot of team situations, that's not the case. And so I think, again, because of that, it just carried over, and guys, again, took a very focused and business-like approach to the tournament.
Right.
Was it overkill? I say no, for 2 reasons. One, we had to win the tournament. And can the 4 of us imagine if by some chance Indonesia plays the game of their life, knock on wood, Jason and Junmar get hurt, Dre gets hurt, we lose.
Yeah,
Then what?
that's it.
That's it. And
I know what they're going to do then. They're going to be like, hello, Jimmy, can you dress up, please? We need you to come back for in 2 days, a game against Indonesia.
And secondly, I don't think it was overkill because, for the last couple of years, I was with Coach Tab when we had that close call in Singapore where we won by, I think, 4 or 6 points. And so you've heard, a lot of the noise that you've heard is, well, Southeast Asia is catching up to the Philippines.
It is, really.
And granted, they are,
is, yeah.
because, leagues like the ABL are giving these Southeast Asian countries an opportunity to play in a pro league with imports, so it only raised the level of competition in those respective countries, which is great. But at the same time, we're doing our work here too.
Right, right.
You know, we have a lot of great players here in our country who continue to get better, whether it's from the grassroots level to the high school and college level, and of course to the pro level. So I think this tournament was an opportunity for us to really show that as much as Southeast Asia basketball is getting better, the Philippines is one of the best teams in Asia and one of the almost top 20 teams in the world.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it was a chance for us to sort of flex our muscles, so to
We've been the
speak.
second best team in Asia for like half a decade already.
So
I mean, 2013 silver, 2015 silver. I
Yep.
mean, who knows what's up in 2017, right?
and I think we're knocking on the door.
Yeah, we are knocking on the door, definitely, because Iran's on its way down.
Yeah.
China's still up there for sure, but, you know, yeah, Australia, New Zealand, but that's a different
Iran,
story.
wala na si Haddadi.
Huh?
Haddadi.
Yeah, he's getting old, but, you know, Australia and New Zealand have joined, so that's a different story, which we'll talk about in another episode. So, for me, for you, Jimmy, which Gilas player actually stood out? Coach Chot actually mentioned guys like Dre, Matthew Wright, Gio Halalon. They impressed Coach Chot, but your personal opinion, who was the one who really stood out for you?
That's tough because throughout the 6 games, if you notice, I mean, for the most part, we had different guys stepping up each
Yeah,
game.
the same starters, though.
Had the same starters, but again, even from a minutes aspect, it was pretty level and pretty even throughout the tournament. But of course, you know, Junmar was Junmar, Jason was Jason. I think that was expected. But I was really impressed with the way Japet played. He just, now that he's one of the veteran guys in the team, you know, when I was still playing, he was more so one of the younger guys, but now he's one of the older guys.
Where do you have that game, Big Explosion? Was it Vietnam or Thailand? When
I
he
think it was
really
Thailand.
It was Thailand,
But
right?
I mean, he just,
His maturity level.
just the
Yeah.
maturity and just, you know, you see the confidence that he plays with. You know, he's much more confident shooting the basketball from the mid-range. He made a few threes. He's still as athletic as ever.
And the dunks, of course.
You know, that's. I mean, he looked like the Japet from when we played in Spain. And of course, from the new guys, yes, Gio and Matt Wright definitely stood out. Matt shot the lights out. I mean,
Matt, right? Yeah.
Matt,
I like his
Yeah,
game.
he was consistent.
I mean, I think he kind of served notice for the rest of Asia that the Philippines has now another new sniper, along with Elaine and you know the other guys in the team. But I think the SEABA gave Matt Wright an opportunity to really show that he will be a part of the Gilas program.
There's
for
a
while.
Filipino trait that says, you know, you play well in your first 5 games, you screw up in your last game, you sort of get forgotten. That actually might have happened to our Pugoy, who had a very consistent first 5 games, sort of disappeared against Indonesia. But his first 5 games were almost spectacular, and people just don't remember that.
Yeah, he's you know, for a rookie, he's another great player.
Yeah.
Just so tough. You know, he's. I mean, I remember during one of the games during the All-Star break, he had 14 rebounds, and 14
Wow.
rebounds as a
That's right.
shooting guard is. I don't think I ever grabbed 14 rebounds in a game.
Yeah.
But you know, both of them were really impressive, and of course Gio Halalon. You know, I think a player like Gio gains so much confidence getting an opportunity to compete against Terrence and Jason every day.
Which is strange, because just Gio played third string. He was third string point guard in the rotation that Coach Chot showed during the SEABA. What was it about Gio that made you guys say, hey, this kid's special? It's great to have him on the team.
Well, one, you know, I think the talent is there, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, I think he has great awareness as a point guard,
Blatch loves him.
setting guys up, you know, getting to the basket. He's one of the quickest and fastest guys I've seen in the league in the 14 years that I've been here in the Philippines.
Defense.
And then his defense.
Defense.
You know, his on-the-ball defense is an absolute weapon. And the other Southeast Asian teams really felt his presence on the floor because as soon as guys would inbound the ball, like he was right there. And again, his speed, his quickness, and to be a young player, his strength as a rookie is much further ahead than most rookies would be in those terms.
He's stronger than Don.
How old is he?
He's like 24?
I think, yeah, about 24.
Yeah,
But, you know, he's got a very long career ahead of him. But again, just really impressive that he
Did you
played the way
guys
he
see
did.
similarities between Gio Lalon's game and Jimmy Alapag's game?
I was going to ask that question.
Yeah,
Who
exactly.
do you see as, who reminds, of course, you can't talk about, you can't compare.
They both got that spring in them.
You're right.
They got that
that is true.
spring,
Because
man.
let's not forget, Jimmy
guy could dunk.
was able to throw it
But
down,
yeah, but
and we've
Jimmy-
seen it happen.
No, but
yeah.
I'll tell you what, though. Gio is hands down a much, much, much better defender than I ever was in my career. He's got long arms. He's got big hands. He's got quick feet. You know, I mean, I tried my best, but
I guess my best wasn't good enough.
but again, you know, to be a rookie,
He's got that. He's got that. Okay, the defensive part is a little bit more aggressive, but I think also on the upside, if you're going to take a look at compare the two players, you possess that outside shooting, and it's just those the times when you take it, those are huge shots every time to take the lead or to get the
But we were
momentum.
talking about it before we came on the air. Jason Castro, when he joined you guys in '09, didn't have that jump shot.
Yeah, we'll
And he was still blown by people anyway.
yeah.
But now he developed the jump shot, and now he's Jason Castro, the best point guard in Asia.
Yeah.
and again, I think that's what will help Gio, because him being the youngest of the point guard trio as of right now. I mean, every day that you practice, you're matched up against Terrence, who's been the best scorer in our league for how many years now? Jason, who's been the best guard in Asia for how many years now? And that alone is only going to help him raise his level of play. And the fact that, you know, he's a great kid, got a great work ethic, and really, you know, is trying to improve. And that says a lot about him.
Yeah, you know, the kid's special when we spend 3 minutes talking about him
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
the show. We still have 2 more questions to go. All right, Jimmy, among the teams in the SEABA, which team do you think is so close to bridging the gap between the Philippines? I know it's kind of far, Philippines and the rest of Southeast Asia right now. Philippines, the rest of Southeast Asia. But which team do you think has the equipment, has the technology to actually catch up with the Philippines very soon?
I might be biased just because, you know, I played with the national team for so long. I don't know how soon that gap will really get that close. But again, you know, you look at teams like Thailand, you look at teams like Indonesia, you know,
If Malaysia was at full strength.
you know, Malaysia, these teams are playing in a pro league now. And the fact that their local players are getting an opportunity to play against top level competition, not just in their respective country, but in other countries.
Yeah, that's true.
They're going to improve. And the fact that they're playing with imports, that raises the level of play from practice to the game. So, again, you know, I think it's great for basketball in the region. You know, I still think the Philippines will continue to keep that gap just because, you know, basketball is ingrained in all of us.
So
as
we're still talking about
Filipinos.
those 3 countries, still Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, in no order? Just a
No,
feeling?
in no particular order. Again, I think Thailand, this recent SEABA, had a few guys who were supposed to play, but I think they're not going to play till the SEA Games in August.
Malaysia's had 5 players that didn't join
You know,
the team.
so I think those 2 countries will probably have different teams and better teams in the SEA Games. But again, I think just because of the fact that they are now playing in a pro league, you know, I spoke to the head coach from Vietnam. They just started a pro league in Vietnam, which is huge for that country.
VBL, yeah.
You know, and so again, it's great for the region. It's a great opportunity for all these young athletes, you know, to play pro basketball. But I think we'll still keep that gap.
All right, now, what's next? You guys, your next tournament, the next major one is this August in Beirut. That's the big one. We don't necessarily need to win that to qualify for the World Cup qualifiers that's going to be happening. We just need to finish in the top 14, which of course we're going to do.
Yes.
So what's next for Gilas right now? You guys joining the Jones Cup? Is there talk of joining another pocket tournament before August? What's up?
Well, of course, you know, the big tournament is the FIBA Asia Cup, because I think that tournament is going to be the last time that it's FIBA Asia without
New Zealand,
Australia and New Zealand,
Yeah.
because that's going to change the landscape of Asia. But again, I think it's a great tournament to build momentum going into the World Cup qualifier, because a lot of the countries are sending their national team with their naturalized players. So
Yeah.
I think it'll be very competitive.
Sorry.
You good? You're right.
Water.
Give him a number.
We
Number between.
we have the ambulance on standby.
He's been under the weather for 2 weeks already.
Stop.
No, but you know,
I need to get that.
Hey, you
This
left your,
coming-
you left your
come on.
penicillin in my car. Don't forget.
Don, shut up, man.
the thing is, you know, are you guys joining the Jones Cup? That could be a good gauge.
It's still a possibility. I don't know if Coach Chut is planning to put the team there, but I know that's coming in July. There's also the SEA Games in
yeah, but it's going to
Malaysia.
coincide practically with the FIBA Asia
Yeah,
Cup, right?
again, so I think that'll be up to Coach Chut and the PBA to discuss what'll be the next plan moving forward.
All right.
in preparation for the World Cup qualifier in November.
Is this the lineup we're sending? Is there going to be any tweaks?
You never know.
Hell yeah, there's going to be tweaks.
You never,
these
you never know
12
'cause
guys, they're not sure.
It's still such a long way away.
Yeah.
You know, granted, you know, knock on wood, anything
Anything can
you know,
happen,
any
yeah.
injuries would happen, but they do happen. So again, from now until November, it's still a long ways
Paul
away.
Lee, look what happened to Paul Lee.
No, but look, Mac Bello will be available already, like
Yeah,
in a
so-
couple of weeks already. So that might change things also. And there,
Yeah, for sure.
There could be some players that are under the microscope with the coaching staff.
Somebody might come out for retirement. You never know.
That's not happening.
Ollie Peak joining the national team.
Hey, Ollie, man.
whatever. No.
All right, guys. One more. We're running out of time right here. We could split this into 2 episodes. We have so much to ask Jimmy right now. But your last shots with Jimmy before we go, Don. Nothing.
Pete can go first.
You know, Pete can go first. Go.
I mean, you've had a chance to look at all these guys. All these guys, a lot of them are obviously rookies, but who do you see a little bit of yourself in? Who reminds you a little bit of you, whether it's the work ethic,
Or the
it's the
fire.
leadership. Yeah.
I love Pogoy's toughness. Like he just doesn't back down, you know. And you know, again, he's a bigger player than I am, but again, he's just not scared. And one thing that, you know, was evident from the day I started playing to the day I stopped playing was, you know, I was never scared. I look forward to the competition. I look forward to the big moment, and I think he's one of the young players who kind of embodies that same mentality. But again, you know, someone like Gio, you know, who's so fast. I remember when I was somewhat that fast,
Pretty fast.
and that quick. And again, you know, I think a lot of these young guys in Gilas, a big reason why they're a part of the program is their work ethic. You know, they all come
I
in
agree.
and take care of business, which is great. You know, it's great for young guys to have that, because it obviously puts them in a position to hopefully have a long career.
Don.
When did you know, man, that it was time to give it up?
When did I know?
We've talked about this.
The
Yeah,
voice.
you know what?
Was there a voice?
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
There's
Let
a
him
voice,
finish,
right?
Man. Just shut up. Let him finish.
I'll tell you what. I know we don't have that much time. When I couldn't play in Game 4 of the finals,
Oh wow.
we were up 2-1. You know, I just played 30-plus minutes in Game 3 when we won,
Yeah.
and I literally did everything I could for 2 days. Every therapy, Normatec, ice, massage that you can think of.
That sounds so familiar.
Come on! Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you're literally
yeah.
yelling at your legs like, "Come on, come on!" And
Yeah.
and you know, yeah, and there was nothing there, and you know, that was just a personal sign for me that, you know what, this could be it.
Wow.
But you know, I enjoyed every minute of the ride. So
You're not talking your legs like Don or something.
I was. No.
Yeah, hey, we do it all the time. Come on, guys, come on. I need you one last time. Come on, be there for me.
96 more minutes. Can you do this for me?
Wow. You know what? Well, we want to have Jimmy back on the show. It depends on your response. If you have a lot of responses, we'll try to get Jimmy back on the show. I know Gilas has a very busy schedule, but Jimmy, before you go, why don't you greet all the fans, all the millions of people who supported Gilas Pilipinas. We all knew it was going to be a victory, but they still went to the Araneta Coliseum.
Yeah.
They still stopped everything and watched the games over on sports5.ph and on TV5. So what can you say to the millions of fans who continue to support the national team?
To all our Gilas fans here at home and lahat yung kababayan natin abroad, can't thank you guys enough for all your support for the Gilas program. It was an absolute honor to be able to represent our country for so many years, and to have an opportunity now to help the next generation. Exciting times for Philippine basketball. So again, maraming salamat for all your support, and we'll be seeing you soon.
Exciting times for Post Play, having Jimmy Alapag on the show.
Thanks, fellas. A lot of dough.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Next week, we're going to continue to break down the national team, what's up for Gilas Pilipinas, and so much more on Post Play. For Don Aliado, Ali Peak, and the Jimmy Alapag, my name is Noel Zarate. See you next week.